Hello everyone, I am Nuda the second and today we are here for a tutorial video about how to make AI lines, and yeah, it is the second video I'm making about this. The first one was like more than an hour long, and yeah, that's a very long video, so I'm not gonna do the same here. And yeah, I'm gonna try and cut some parts, just get through the essentials and all of that, and yeah, that's basically it. So yeah, first thing to do, like I explained in the first video, is to you have to make a copy of the track if it's not your track, and then you have to go here, track images, which I don't think is going to be showing in the recording. Probably not. Yeah, I imagine it's not going to show. But either way, you go to the track images, you make a copy of all of the tracks, and you put them whatever you want, and that's essentially it. And yeah, I make all of usually copy the same four images, which is the track image, the track preview, the grass, and the minimap. Even though it's not necessarily needed nowadays, uh, because minimap no longer has those alternate roads uh, in the game and all of that, like in the minimap, I mean. And yeah, so we enter now the track editor, and yeah, like unlike any of the Journey tracks, this one does have all of the decoration in the game. Again, I'm doing the day version. I'm not gonna do the one that was used in UL, because I want this one to be like the general one, I think, because offline this is fine to use. So yeah, let's then start with the racing line. And yeah, as you can see here, there is a lot of dots. And one of the first things to do, usually that I do, is to sort of remove some of the dots that I know are going to be sort of useless. And so yeah, that's what I'm gonna do now. So I'm gonna be pausing the video. Alright, so I think I did it. There's these two where I'm kind of not sure if I should remove one of them or not, but yeah, there were a lot of dots removed, like here. Here you can see there was quite a bunch of them here in the middle as well, also around this turn, also around this straight, here. There was like in between the dots that stayed, there were a lot of the dots that were just basically removed. So yeah, let's then start with the AI lines. One of the things that is very essential at the start. Oh shit! Let me save the track. Uh, for this, I need to remove. There's always a sort of point or dot that breaks, so we have to remove one of that part and then add again, and now it's just one single dot. So that's a small thing. And yeah, essentially for the AI lines, what's very necessary is to usually at the start, one thing I like to do is to have all the free lines in a different place, like all in their own sort of space. And so yeah, I do the racing line usually go towards the middle, and here it's kind of easy to do because like you have this outside that goes here, and then the AI has to move towards the center either way, because then they're going to be on the opposite side, on the right side here, to be on the inside on this turn. So yeah, it's very simple. And then yeah, here it's going to be an easy one. We have for the chicanes, usually I like to have one dot here in the middle, so it fixes what can I say, so it's easier, because I could just have this one and have this one, and I will just be extending this, but with one in the middle it's kind of easy to control things around chicanes. So yeah, we just do something like this, try to make it smooth. It's one of the main things about my lines, is to make the line smooth, and you do that by just put this thing like further off the turn, and the same with the exit, so it makes like some sort of a larger turn, so the AI is like turning less for a longer period of time, which then will make them break less. So yeah, that's the thing, like the AI has the possibility of turning less because it's all on their lines that they are doing, while the player doesn't have exactly the same option. So yeah, the AI is never going to be exactly the same as the player, uh, which could be a bit of a sad thing, but it is all what it is. And yeah, here once again it's the same principle. We just go here and make this as large as possible, and we can then extend the lines here. And yeah, I'm very concerned about this turn because the AI I think might be a bit too slow. So I'm gonna extend here because when the AI breaks a lot, they tend to go a bit to the inside. So I kind of have to just put them a bit more on the outside than what I would usually do. Like usually they would be like around here because of the curve. I'm making these lines with the FA cars in mind, not the F1 Sports uh, because of the size essentially. So it works for more cars and yeah, so these airlines can be used for more car classes, not just the Formula Sports. So yeah, then the next turn should be easy. Here, I'm not totally sure. I could go towards the outside. It could work maybe for the AI a little bit better. I guess we can do that. And yeah, then here, next hairpin, just something like this. Again, just extend. They go from, when it comes to racing lines, also very simple. They go from outside, inside, outside, and here again they have to go from here to be on the outside at this part, and then yeah, we can then extend here pretty easily. And yeah, I guess this works right now. Also, they have the exit here on this curve. Usually, when it comes to like the use of the space, usually I don't really worry about them using all of the space possible. I kind of just rather just make them a bit more on the inside, because yeah, otherwise the AI will be way too perfect and very like impossible to beat. So we kind of have to sort of slow them down a little bit. And then here it's gonna be tight turn. I'm kind of concerned whether the AI will be able to do this one, although I guess it might be large enough. So yeah, here once again we just put these dots further from the turn so we can make longer like arcs. This arc here should be longer. And yeah, so the AI becomes a bit faster. They start to brake earlier, they can brake more smoothly, and it makes things a bit easier. So yeah, they should be able to use these two curves nicely. And then here they kind of just make them go a bit to the outside because it's more tighter turn. And yeah, I guess this will work. Then here we could maybe make the AI go from here, but it is a very large turn, so we can easily just make this AI just stay a bit more towards the middle. This way it does allow for the overtaking lines to be a little different. Maybe we can make this one a bit to the outside. And yeah, for the racing line I'm not gonna pause, but then for the overtaking lines I am pausing, or at least make the beginning. But yeah, we here just something like this. Have this dot on the middle helps a lot. Once again, I could just have this one here and this dot here, but I rather just have this one because it's easier to control the movement and all of that. So yeah, here we can just extend once again to make this turn as large as possible to really make sure that AI doesn't break in the middle. Although this is more crucial on this part here where they're entering a bit more from the middle. So yeah, we can even extend more. This takes sort of exaggeration, I know, but it's a very fast turn. They should easily do this now without any type of braking. And yeah, that's it. Here we can let's reduce this one so we can put this one a bit more at the back. And here it's going to be a bit of a connection of turns, as you can see here on this part. So we just sort of go here, extend this one. Now this one might have to be a bit more towards here because we still have to make so we can extend this part a bit more, because yeah, then this turn is gonna be an awkward one. Maybe we can even do some kind of diagonal, like not be totally parallel with the actual turn, because otherwise they're gonna be focused on trying to stay here. They might go a bit too wide, and then they're gonna try to like go a bit wider here too late, which might then just sort of mess up things. So to make things easier for the AI, at least, we can just make this sort of little diagonal, so they just you know, sort of do this turn well. And yeah, it's something like this. Keep it close to the curb, very simple. And here I think I might actually have to delete one of these lines, maybe. We could try just reduce these two, but I'm not sure if I like it, because usually I really high, like since all the turns are like relatively close to each other, I like to just have one continuous turn. Like if they're all very large, it kind of looks like they're still going on a straight, like between the turns for a bit, and it's properly connected. There is no awkward like mini straight here, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm gonna, I think, delete this one here. I don't think it's gonna be needed. And yeah, now this part is gonna be a bit awkward, because as you can see, I think I might have to actually put this one towards the middle, and then this one I guess could go something like here, and then this one we can extend it again. Maybe it should give us something like this. Not totally sure how it was done, like in the actual races. I guess here we can. It's gonna be a harder one. Let me just pause it. Okay, I think I got this solved. Maybe not much difference. You might not really notice much, but yeah, essentially for the racing line, sometimes you have to, like, you can't just have in mind the turn itself that you're making. You have to have in mind the next turn. It's the case for like these three last turns of of this track. So yeah, here we just make the AI go from the outside, and then here they're gonna have to make a tighter line so they can do a good entry for this one. Maybe one thing that we could do is to extend maybe here, but that means it's gonna do this turn on the outside, so it gets a little bit tricky for sure. But I think it's the best to prioritize the turn that's gonna be the tightest of them all. And the AI usually doesn't have that many troubles making 90-degree turns. It's usually the tighter hairpins where it really gets hard to make the AI turn properly, because it's just gonna go too deep sometimes. Even if you make the the lines properly, it's gonna be hard to make the AI not mess up. And yeah, I think this is it for the racing line. Then we can just check this part here. Maybe it could be a bit smoother on this side, and then here I think it's looking fine. On this area, can maybe make the AI go a bit more towards this part here. Maybe here we just do it to the outside to not touch the grass. Usually this area is where you have to worry about like the AI touching the grass. And yeah, that's it for the racing line. So let's then make one of the overtaking lines. Let's go with the blue one. So yeah, once again the thing here is to remove all of the dots that seem to be useless. So yeah, I'm gonna do that and I'm gonna be right back. Alright, I guess we got the job done here for the blue line. So let's then start making that overtaking line. So yeah, at the beginning, as we have this ring line conveniently in the middle, we can just easily put this one more towards here. I think starting wise it's gonna be awkward because all of them are gonna go towards the left. But yeah, I think it's necessary because there's a lot of space, so why won't they go there? And yeah, let's then start here. Very quickly we extend this line, try to make them not go too much to the inside, or otherwise they're going to be touching the grass here, so we have to sort of extend it like this. Try to not make it awkward, as here we do something like this, and it's kind of awkward to have this line here, but I feel like if I delete these dots it would be too much of a long distance between this and these dots, and it will be kind of harder to control things. And yeah, here for the chicane, it's very crucial for this part. One thing you need to worry about when it comes to chicane is the angle of things, as I could make the AI like use this space around here, but then it would imply like using a very awkward angle, and they will just sort of go too wide for no reason. And I think it's gonna be kind of hard for the AI to break, so I'm not really gonna make too much of a deviation. I might actually just sort of make the AI copy the line, and then here they make their own like sort of separation. So yeah, really try to make things as smooth as possible. Maybe you can even make a little crossover here, so it allows us to, you know, move things a little bit better. Maybe on this part I might need to go backwards a bit so I can extend this line. Really try to make sure that the AI just doesn't randomly lift or break like in the middle of a flat out turn, basically. So yeah, this is how we do things here on this side. And yeah, then for the hairpin it's very simple. Some people, especially when it's not edited, what ends up happening is that AI is too much on the inside. Here it's actually a very large sort of hairpin, so there is not much of an issue. But you don't need to make this, like to make AI too much to the inside. You can just easily make them a bit more closer to the racing line. And I just see there's something wrong here. Let me just quickly fix this. And yeah, so here for this overtaking line, you can make it a bit closer towards the racing line. So they can also make, like, they are on the overtaking line, but it is as fast as possible. So we just do something like this, and it should be fine. And something like this should work well. And yeah, they can go, could even be like the distance between this line and this line, or you can make it a bit closer so they can sort of widen up the angle a bit. Or we can also even extend this further and extend this line here. And yeah, it looks fine because it's a larger hairpin. So yeah, I'm gonna cut a little bit now of the video so we get towards this hairpin, which things could be a little bit different. Alright, here I've already made this hairpin, of course, where it's very simple. Usually people would go here and just make something like this, which is very unnecessary. We don't need to go too far off, so instead of just make the line closer, maybe like towards the middle of the track, and maybe even closer here, because it's already going to be hard even with this to make the AI overtake. Another thing that could happen would be for this line to just sort of go a little bit wider, and maybe it might help them overtake, or maybe not, but yeah, just to sort of make it a bit more possible to overtake. But yeah, this line is gonna have to be here even if it's impossible to overtake, mostly because of the blue flags. Like the AI also uses these lines when they are getting lapped. They go towards one of the overtaking lines, so they let the AI that is lapping them go towards the racing line and just pass him on the inside here. So yeah, it's a very little thing. Then here, since it's a tighter turn, things are a little bit different compared to these last two hairpins. Essentially, because it's a tighter turn, they have to brake more. There's a huge risk of them just sort of go a bit too deep, and yeah, it's kind of what I'm doing here. A little bit of a crossover. It's not a big issue. It's very still similar to the racing line. And then here, instead of making the AI line going here, which would make things a bit more awkward on this part, because they might not be able to brake enough, so we just do here to smooth things out for the AI that is overtaking, and so they can have a much more chances of having a successful overtake on this hairpin, because otherwise they might just brake too much, have a very awkward exit, and just not be able to overtake at all, and this AI will then be able to take back the position. So in this case, best thing is to just extend this line a bit closer towards this part, and then on this part, on this next dot, we put it here, and we extend this line so they can go towards this side a bit quicker. So yeah, so it's not too much common to this racing line. If you want, you can even extend it a bit more, just so they can really make the overtaking line. Also here, we have to sort of make this line go a bit deeper in the turn because of the grass around here. It's very possible if we do something like this that it will be touching the grass for some reason. So we have to sort of solve that issue by just doing something like this. And yeah. So yeah, let's just continue. I'm gonna pause this because this thing is gonna be simple. Alright, so I sort of finished the blue line already, so I'm gonna explain how I did things. So starting with here, once again you have to worry about the angle not being too different from the racing line, because otherwise they're gonna go here, then something like this, and it's gonna be awkward on this turn. But this way, it's a very large turn, it's very easy to do things. We can maybe just go here a bit more towards the outside, and yeah, we don't need to make them be too far off this racing line, just something like this. And yeah, it keeps a nice angle, it's still using a good space here, and also avoids the AI touching the grass on this part. So yeah, I think things are looking nice here. We also have to sort of extend this part so to make them avoid just using the brakes for no reason. And then here we can make them, you know, just go a bit close towards the racing line, because this turn is going to be always a bit awkward because they're entering a bit to the inside. So I'm making this overlap so they can sort of widen up their exit here. And yeah, I could also make the AI sort of do something like this so they could use more space towards the outside of this turn, but I think it will be always awkward because they would sort of go a bit too deep here, and then they would go too deep here, and they would not be able to make any overtakes, and probably just even be overtaken by the AI that is behind them. So do something like this to avoid the AI touching the grass on the inside here, and then they can sort of share the line, the racing line here, and then on the exits they can widen up the angle even more than the normal racing line, so that they can sort of, you know, be faster here and then block the AI on the racing line by just then staying on the inside on this final turn. And then here we have to widen up the angle a little bit. Maybe this might allow for this AI on the racing line to be able to make some sort of switchback if this AI goes too deep, but I think this should allow them to really make that overtake like successful. And yeah, then we have to make them go wider on the exit to be able to really complete the move. And then here, by extending the node here, we can make the AI then go towards their own racing line while still keeping things as smooth as possible, so that they don't lose the position that they just took by, you know, breaking things too much here. And yeah, I think that's it for the first overtaking line, so let's then go towards the second overtaking line. And yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing, just deleting all of the unnecessary dots so we can then start. So I'm gonna be right back. And alright, it's done with deleting the dots, so let's then start making the final overtaking line. Oh shit, I deleted this one. But I don't think it should be a big issue because we have this line here. So yeah, we can put this thing here, and yeah, there's still some dots here. Okay, let me quickly delete this. As you can see, I'm also saving the track, which is a very crucial thing. Oh, wait a moment. Alright, either way, let's continue. I think we have to delete this dot right here, yes. Alright, so yeah, we just make this very simple, just make this line easily go towards the outside, so then be on the inside on this chicane. And yeah, but here, since we have this right in the middle of the turn, it's gonna be a bit awkward with the line, and same kind of happens here. We can just adjust it a little. on this part we have to make sure it continues to be smooth. I don't like having this line in the middle, it kind of makes things a bit awkward, but yeah, maybe we can even delete this dot right here. Yeah, fuck that dot. We can just extend the line and yeah, do something like this, and then here we put this line in the middle of this part right here, so we maybe have to extend this part to allow for the AI to have a smoother turn without it being like too sharp. And yeah, once again I could just make the AI like use this extra space here, but then it's gonna be so awkward, like they're not gonna be able to be successful with the overtaking, because it might mean that this turn is gonna be too sharp and then it's gonna be so awkward on this part right here that I'd rather just make them share the exact same line on this part, because it's a very fast turn. Like the AI on the racing line will have no struggles making that line. And yeah, that's one thing you have to avoid, is to make the overthinking line too much harder than the racing line. Because if you do that, then overtakes are just going to be like impossible, and they might just even lose like a lot of time, and they're not going to be able to be successful on their overtaking there. So better, if they want to overtake on this chicane, they must do it around here and make that move complete on this part. So yeah, that's simply it. And then on the outside, they're gonna be sharing the same line as the racing line, because it's the because yeah, it's because you know they're on the outside on this part, so yeah, they're gonna be sharing the same line. And yeah, I guess for the next turns I can just do as I did before, but now with a different line. So I'm gonna be right back. Okay, I think the right line is done. So yeah, at the beginning it's very simple. We just make this line just go towards the outside very easily. Then here, do not make it a very awkward angle, because it's gonna be kind of hard to overtake like in the middle of the chicane either way. So the best is to just hope that the AI can make the overtake before they get into the chicane. So it's very simple here. And then here, you know, it's basically just towards the outside, make the turn like smooth by just extending or making these dots as further from the track as you can, and then extend this so it becomes smooth. And then yeah, since all of the lines are here on the inside, we can just make them go towards the middle instead of being further on the outside, because it's very unnecessary. It's just gonna make them lose a lot of time for no reason. So you can just make this a bit to the inside, you know, or towards the middle, I guess. Then here, since it's a large turn, once again you have to make this little crossover, so this AI line will not be touching the grass. So yeah, you can make them go a bit towards the outside to widen up the angle a little bit. Then here, you kind of have to make them a bit closer, even closer compared to here, to the racing line, because it's a tighter turn. Otherwise, they're just gonna go awkwardly towards the outside, and it's not gonna work. To be honest, most of the overtaking here is not gonna work that well. And then here you have to be careful about this, like the grass around here, so you have to watch out when making this line over here. Do not make it too close to the grass on this area. So one thing you can do is to just make a bit of an angle here, like a bit on the diagonal, so they're not going to be touching the grass on this part. And yeah, I guess this sort of works, but it's better to make this a bit towards the outside. So on this next turn, once again, just try to make it as smooth as possible, though I believe that here they might actually maybe lift. I'm not totally sure, but either way, just try to make the angle not awkward, try to keep it as parallel to the racing line as possible. Or we can do something like this, but I'm not totally sure. It's just gonna be a bit awkward, a bit too sharp for my liking. So we just do something like this. You should be able to make the turn without that many issues. And then here, we try to make this overtaking line take full advantage of the fact that this racing line they have to brake more because of being wider on this turn. Although here, sort of make them go fast, so it's gonna be hard either way. But we can make them go towards the outside, see if they can maybe go a bit wider than what this line shows, to then overtake and block the line on this part. And then here towards the end, it's just trying to keep it close as possible to the racing line. Also here with this type of turn, since we are using this dot in the middle of the turn, be careful to not have something like this, to have like two sharper turns. So you have to make these dots a bit closer in order to smooth things out. So yeah, it becomes smooth and it's just like one turn at the end. And here they just go, you know, towards the outside, and it's that simple. We can maybe, oh I see, wait, we have to be careful about this. Is what I would like to call the breaking point, where we have to delete, like where this dot is breaks into two by just moving. So we have to delete one of them and then connect again, so it's just one dot now. And yeah, it should be fine now. So yeah, it's gonna look a bit awkward here, but it's the best I can do. Usually I like to have like 3 different lines at the start, but as you can see, things are gonna be so awkward at the start. Maybe we can sort of do something like this. Let's try to improve the problem a little bit, but it's gonna be hard either way. What matters usually like lap 2 and all of that. Lap 1 is might be a bit awkward sometimes with the lines. But yeah, now there's just one thing to do before the testing. It's to make the AI lines on the pit lane. Make sure that the pit lane is in the right direction. And yeah, then here, oh, we have to go here to our path. They go to auto skid marks. So we know where the main racing line is, and it's going to be important, because the reason why we are doing this is to connect their pit exit line towards the racing line, so they don't do any weird thing like any type of snapping, like they are here and suddenly they just turn like to the inside. And oh shit, what the fuck did I just leave? Delete this. So they don't do any type of weird turning like they are here, then they suddenly just turn very suddenly to the pit line. So it's better to connect their pit entry and pit exit line towards the racing line, so they have some sort of smoother transition. So yeah, we have to go here wherever you see it's towards the middle, because the thing is that it's gonna be like you have to connect to either one of the sides. It's not gonna be like in the middle, so we have to do something like this. And then in here we have to move. The pit line is gonna get awkward. I'm gonna try to not move this line too much because it's gonna be affecting this. But since we copied the grass image, it's gonna be fine. And we also copy the normal images and all of that, so it's going to look exactly the same and the grass will be on the exact same place. It's just to say that AI will have maybe a bit of a different line, but for the player it's going to be the same. And then yeah, here it's going to be so awkward. I think it might have to be something like this. Yeah, it's going to be, so the AI might have will be to the inside, but yeah, this is not going to be road, it's still going to be grass, because we are copying the grass line, or the grass image I mean. So yeah, I think it's fine. Then we go here, wall path, auto skid marks, so we can see what line will AI take, and you can see it's going to be something like this. They're actually going to stay a bit on the inside, maybe they're going to be cutting towards the grass, but I think it's fine the way it is right now. So yeah, then we do the same now for the entry, and we go here, and yeah, as you can see, we have to see where we can connect these towards the middle. Maybe we might have to do something like this. That is going to bring us the same issue. have to once again try to keep the same angle and all of that. It's gonna be a bit complicated, but once again, this is why you always copy the grass images, because of this as well. As you can see, things are just looking a bit awkward, but I think it's working. We go here, auto skin marks, and yeah, we can see where does the pit line goes. It goes something like this, and then they go like smooth towards the outside, and then they pit, which is gonna be awkward for the AI. I believe that they're gonna be touching or hitting the wall here either way, which seems to be inevitable, unless we could make these pits entry checkpoints here, but I don't see really any reason, to be honest. But if you want to, in this case you would have to, like, if you want, but I think it will be hard either way. They will still be hitting this wall either way. But yeah, also one thing that's gonna happen, that always happens as soon as AI touches this pit wall and using this line, is that they're gonna sort of have lower acceleration, but they also gonna have full grip always. I guess it's to make their entry and exit easier. And yeah, that's it. So last thing to do is to go here, edit track and edit checkpoints, because we need to edit these two checkpoints, the AI return to track and AI enter the pits, and make it closer to where this crossover ends, and then do the same here. As you can see, we have to extend, and yeah, the AI stay on track. I believe it could be actually here. One thing you have to have in mind, that the checkpoint itself is actually here where this yellow part starts. It's not in the middle, it's here. So yeah, for precision things you have to do something like this. But I'm a bit worried that this line AI could go too deep, that they might just touch this part. But yeah, I think it's better to do something like this, because the purpose of this line is so that if the AI tries to pit but they get blocked out, in order for them to not be then stuck on this pit lane, they then touch this this checkpoint and they just return to the normal racing line. That's the purpose of it. And yeah, I guess it's done. Essentially, it's basically this. Oh, we can also edit this. One mistake that some people make is to make the finish line like this, because usually people think that the checkpoint is like in the middle, but no, the checkpoint is right here. In this case, it's where the purple is touching, so we have to move it something, and I'll here try to match it with the finish line. So yeah, this is what a proper finish line checkpoint looks like. I also don't make the mistake of having the finish line only here, then add the lap counter stamp point on this side. That doesn't really work that well. The best is to just really have the finish line like extended towards the pit lane as well, so when people pit they also finishing the lap. And yeah, that's basically it. Also check the pits, if the pits are in the right direction, because if they are in the wrong direction, what would happen is that these checkpoints would also be flipped, and what would happen is that AI would be able to enter the pits, but they would not go to their pit box. They will just drive, just making a drive through. They will not pit at all, and it would be so awkward, and it will be wrong, or maybe the AI would maybe like flip when entering the pits or something like that. But yeah, also you have to make sure that this, like the beginning of their pit lane line, is properly connected to the track. But if it's loose, sometimes it might also cause some issues with the AI pitting. And yeah, there are some little things to have in mind and to pay attention to. And yeah, I guess that's it for this video. I hope this video is not going to be as long as the other one. And if it's long, if it's like, I don't know, 45 minutes, you can put this at 2 times speed. And oh wait, there's this checkpoint that could be edited. I don't know how the fuck did Hernandi mess this one up, or Levi, I don't know. And just extend so it properly connects this. And so yeah, that's it for the video. Oh my fucking god. But yeah, that's it. So I hope you guys like it, and I see you next time. Okay, so one little thing before I end this video is that once you save the track and make all the testing and everything works fine, then what you need to do is to bring back the images that you copied and put them on this folder, on this track images folder. So then everything looks fine, and yeah, it has all of the decoration that the user made, because sometimes they make the decoration outside the game. And so yeah, that's it for the video. I hope you guys like it, and I hope this video is a lot shorter, and yeah, I guess that's it. So I see you next time. Goodbye.